Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Michael of M.O.D's Catering Services. Don't forget to subscribe. So you're going to learn how to make my favorite beans palava sauce. And of course, I use beans because I need that protein, plant protein aspect in it. So we need our tuna, we need mackerel, we need our sausage, we need our blended Scotch bonnet pepper, we need our cube, our salt, and our seasoning salt, palm oil, egushie, or melon seed. And we need our momone, of course. We need our sliced onions, tomatoes, and our Nkontomire or Cocoyam leaves and beans. Since we are doing a beans palava sauce, we also need a habanero pepper. We need Wele or cow skin, or should I say hide. In the dictionary, we normally put it as hide. Yes, and we also need some eggs. So we just light up our stove, and we are just going to first of all parboil our beans. Yes, we want to parboil our beans first. Then we can continue with our whole palava sauce. So you have to just make sure we cook our beans. Then we are going to now start with our palava sauce. So we need our oil, palm oil. So we need a partial amount of the palm oil. Then we are going to fry our momone in there till we get the momone well cooked. Or let me say it will just flavor the oil. That's the essence of the momone. We have to flavor our oil with the momone. So you're just going to stir that up in our hot boiling palm oil. So you can see most of it being dissolved in the oil. Then we can gradually add our sliced onions to it. So we also allow the onions to cook, or let's say caramelize, for some few minutes, about 5 minutes. Then we can gradually add our beef. Then goes in cow skin or willy or hide. Yes, then we add our sausages and other ingredients in there. So we're just going to let this cook for some time. Then we add our beef, Tolo beef. Yes, Tolo beef, of course. We add our Tolo beef to it and gradually keep stirring that up. We have to make sure our Tolo beef is thoroughly cooked until our palava sauce is ready. So we are just going to let that cook for a bit. We cover that up. We'll let that cook for a bit first. If you don't allow your beef to cook thoroughly, your palava sauce will be ready and your beef will be undercooked. So you're just going to allow that to cook for about 5 minutes. Then we open up and you're going to add in our next ingredients, which is going to be our cow skin, willy or hide. Yes, we just add that up. We are going to also stir that one up. Make sure we mix in there thoroughly. It wasn't really tough. It was one soft hide, so we don't need to overcook that one as well. We just need a little amount to cook that. So I'm just going to stir that up. We add in our sausages next, and we cover and let that also cook for about 5 minutes. When you're done cooking, you're now going to add in our blended Scotch bonnet pepper and let the liquid from our blended Scotch bonnet pepper help cook our beef, our Tolo beef, and our hide or willy for about 5 minutes more. Then we can proceed to adding our tomatoes, cooking that up and adding in our cocoyam leaf or Nkontomire leaves. Then we can add in the rest of the ingredients. So please stay tuned. So now let's check on our beans. Our beans has been cooking for the past 10 minutes now. Yes, 10 to 12 minutes now, and it should be ready in some few minutes more. So now let's go back to our stew. So you are now going to give it a gentle stir. Make sure we do not let our stew burn. Then we are going to pour in our blended Scotch bonnet pepper. So with this, it's going to help or allow our beef, Tolo beef, and our willy or hide cook very well. We allow that to simmer for about 5 minutes. Then we know our beef and hide is a little bit ready. Since you're going to add in more ingredients, you're going to toss in more ingredients, it will allow that much time to cook very well. So as you can see, our beef is still cooking. Our sausages, for our sausages, it's already cooked. It's well done. And our willy has also been cooking. We're going to add in our tomatoes. We stir that up and we cover it and let the tomatoes also cook. We do not want any of our ingredients undercooked. So we are going to allow our tomatoes to cook very well. Now our beans is ready. So one trick to knowing if your beans is ready is once you take a piece and you press and the eyes or the beans itself or the skin start peeling off or the beans break, then it means your beans is ready. So now let's cook our rice also. You are going to pair that with our boiled rice. So we need some cup, let's say 3 cups of water. We added in our salt and you're going to let that boil up a bit before we add in our washed rice. So now let's check on our stew. I'm going to give that a gentle stir because our tomatoes has been well cooked. Then we add in our tuna. The tuna is a bit tough, so we add in the tuna first. Then we add our mackerel next. Then we give that a good stir. I'm just going to stir that up. When you get to this stage, you can add your seasoning salt, your cube, and your salt. We do not want to have excess seasoning or excess salt because some Tolo beef comes with salt. They preserve it with salt. So we do not want to end up having a lot of salt in there. If you end up having a lot of salt, when it's time for you to eat it the following day, you might end up not being able to eat it because the salt will be too much or too excess in there. So we add a partial amount of the salt, seasoning salt, and our cube. Then we taste if the level of the salt is okay. If it is, then you're going to add in our leaves. So we just add in our leaves and give it a gentle stir. I normally don't boil my spinach leaf or contour leaf. What I normally do is we cut it and freeze it, especially if you're not ready to cook. You can cut and refrigerate or cut and freeze it. When you're ready to cook, you just bring it out and allow it to thaw before you can start using it. I don't boil my spinach leaves or Nkontomire leaves. So we are going to give that a gentle stir and make sure we've mixed everything together. Then we allow that to also cook for some time before we proceed to add in our Egushie or melon seed soaked in water and salt. Mostly when you soak your blended melon seeds or blended Egushie in water and salt, it increases in volume. That's the only secret with it. So you just soak it up. You can even soak it up before you start to cook. Then by the time you get to the point you would be needing it, it had already multiplied in quantity for your volume for you. So we just stir that up and you're going to just add in our beans, give it a good stir, cover it up a bit and add in our egusi soaked in the water and salt solution. We're just going to stir in our beans. Yes, I love beans because it's a plant protein. So you're just going to stir everything together. Then we just add in our egusi and cover that up and let it cook for some minutes. So when you're done, you're going to cover this up and allow it to cook for some few minutes. And we're going to check on our hot boiling water. We're going to add in our washed rice and give it a good stir, add a bit of oil and allow that to also cook on a low or medium heat till our rice is well cooked. Mostly rice I normally pair with consumer. I really love it soft. So we just use enough water to make sure our rice is cooked and soft enough and ready to be consumed. So you just add in a little bit of oil after stirring that up and a bit of salt as well to your taste. Then we just cover that up after adding the oil and giving it a good stir. We just cover that up and also go back to checking on our contomere. Here we have our rice with our oil well mixed and everything. I'm just going to cover it up. So we'll add a pinch of salt to our eggs. Give it a good mix. After checking and stirring our contomere stew or palava sauce stew together, we're also going to add in our eggs. Then we also cover that up and allow that to cook for an extra 3 minutes. We're just going to give this a good stir. Our Egushie has been a bit cooked. We're going to just give it a good stir and mix that up. Afterwards, we add in our eggs and cover it up and also allow that to cook for about 3 to 5 minutes. Then we can now give that a gentle stir as well. Then we know our beans palava sauce is ready. So we are going to just gradually add in our eggs. We are just going to pour it all over the surface of our palava sauce. Then cover that up and allow the simmer and a bit of our palm oil from the surface to cook our eggs for us. So we cover that up. Then we just sit back for 3 to 5 minutes. When we open that, we know our eggs has been well cooked, and we can just stir that up. Then at this stage, our beans palava sauce is ready to be consumed with our hard-boiled yam, boiled plantain, boiled rice, any carbohydrate dish you'd want to pair that with. You're good to go. We will now mix that a bit up and add our habanero pepper and let that cook for about 3 minutes at most. Then we can serve our beans palava sauce, our yummy beans palava sauce with our boiled rice. So it's optional. If you're not a fan of pepper, you can just take out the habanero pepper. We crush that up a bit with our fingers and we just make sure we add it up to our sauce. So now our rice is ready and we are going to dish out our rice and pair that with boiled egg and our beans palava sauce. We just take a special amount, we add in our boiled eggs. I'm just going to dish out our beans palava sauce. Please do try this out. It's good for kids, it's good for everyone. Everybody can take in this yummy beans palava sauce. It has varieties of protein dish, even including beans as a plant protein. So please give it a try and don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and also leave a comment. I'll be on standby to read your comment. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Michael of M.O.D's Catering Services.